Anything to say to your accusers, Mr. Cosby?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most controversial celebrity headlines since the year 2000.
Allison, any comment? Anything you want to say today?
Number 30, the slap heard around the world. The morning after the 94th Academy Awards, everyone was talking about Will Smith, and not just because of his Oscar win. During the show, presenter Chris Rock made a tasteless joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's bald-headed appearance.
That was a nice one, okay.
In response, Will Smith climbed on stage and slapped the comedian, all on live TV. The burst of violence had more drama than all the Best Picture nominees combined, especially when Smith later won Best Actor for his work in King Richard.
You're gonna be the best that ever was. You're gonna be the greatest of all time. You know how I know? Because I planned for it.
Now regarded as the slap heard around the world, Smith's actions resulted in intense media controversy and a 10-year ban from future Oscar ceremonies.
Will responded, "I accept and respect the Academy's decision."
Number 29, Ryan Lochte's fibbed robbery. In 2016, Olympic swimmer Ryan Lochte and 3 others were robbed at gunpoint during their stay in Rio for the Summer Games.
And we got pulled over in our taxi, and these guys came out with a badge, a police badge.
Scandalized by the news, the entire world came to Lochte's aid. Or they would have, except the robbery never actually happened. As it turns out, the so-called criminals were actually security guards attempting to detain the swimmer for vandalism and disorderly conduct.
When this security video shows him and 3 other U.S. Olympic swimmers romping through a gas station, ripping down signage, and police say being belligerent.
Lochte and the others suffered through a media storm of their own making, eventually scraping by with apologies, fines, and short bans from Olympic events. If they handed out medals for media attention, Lochte's debacle would have taken the gold without a sweat. Number 28, Winona Ryder is caught shoplifting. In between her Oscar nominations and her starring role in the Netflix juggernaut Stranger Things, Winona Ryder made headlines for all the wrong reasons. The actress was caught trying to shoplift items worth over $5,000 in 2001, and spent the next several years in a high-profile court case.
He said the actress walked past 3 cash registers with a pile of clothes and handbags before leaving the store.
The charges ran the gamut, from burglary to grand theft to drug possession, although the latter was eventually dropped. This incident completely shattered Ryder's image as Hollywood's squeaky clean it girl, and even forced her into a 4-year hiatus from acting.
The actress is facing 4 shoplifting charges that carry a maximum 3-year jail term.
Ryder herself admits it was a dark time in her life, but thankfully she's managed to bounce back both personally and professionally.
They set up security cameras because of me?
No.
Wait, well then why did they set them up this week?
Because I can't think of a lie right now.
Number 27, Depp versus Heard. It was the he said, she said of the ages. 2 Hollywood A-listers battling it out in a live-streamed court case. No, this isn't a movie, but it sure played out like one.
Wait a minute, what's your name?
Let's keep that a secret.
Well, I don't even know it.
Well, then you'll keep it even better.
It all started when actress Amber Heard came forward with accusations of domestic violence against her ex-husband, Johnny Depp.
I didn't say anything, I didn't react.
Depp denied and sued her for defamation, causing a nail-biting trial with enough courtroom fireworks to feed the tabloids for months.
Truth is the only thing I'm interested in.
The dramatic nature of the case had everyone on the edge of their seat, waiting for the next headline to drop. And boy, were there some wild revelations. Depp was found liable of 1 defamation charge, while Heard was convicted of all 3, ensuring neither star escaped the mudslinging completely clean. Number 26, Paula Deen's racist past. You won't find it in any of her cookbooks, but Paula Deen knows quite the recipe for newsworthy backlash.
All right, now we're gonna take our dry ingredients and we're just gonna beat those in.
Just look at what happened in 2013. During a deposition about racial discrimination, the television personality admitted to using slurs on multiple occasions. Neither her fans nor the networks or her publishers were happy with this admittance.
Overnight, the Food Network, home to Deen's cooking shows, said it does not tolerate any form of discrimination. and will continue to monitor the situation.
Despite Dean's assurances it was all in the past, the intense media scrutiny lost her several endorsements and contracts.
Words are so powerful. They can hurt. They can make people happy. Well, my words hurt people.
The whole thing nearly ended her career, but slowly, Dean has managed to rebuild her brand, though something tells us she'll be adding a lot more sugar to her public image from now on. Number 25. Jimmy Savile's tarnished legacy. From charitable to con man, there may never be anyone who faces as steep a fall from grace as Jimmy Savile.
Did you make up your mind that you were going to be totally honest? Were there certain things you weren't going to say?
The bits that I didn't say are only those which I forgot.
The English celebrity made a name for himself through radio shows, eclectic interviews, and mountains of benevolent fundraisers. He was a good, honest man, or at least that's how it seemed until his death in 2011. While there had been allegations before then, Savile's passing opened the floodgates to hundreds of sexual misconduct claims.
Please do not let him get away with his perversion. Don't let him continue to think he's untouchable, or that his secret is too well hidden.
You heard that right. There were hundreds, many of whom were underage at the time. The overwhelming evidence shook the industry to its core, with many still wondering how such a rampant predator never faced justice in his lifetime.
I don't think he would get away with that now. I think times have changed.
Number 24. Roseanne Barr's Twitter catastrophe. Sitcom star or not, this joke was no laughing matter.
Kind of scary talking to your old granny, huh?
I'm not afraid of you.
Give it time.
While Roseanne Barr's divisive political views always stirred up controversy, comparing black political figures to animals proved to be one tweet too many. It put her in a viral downfall, eventually getting Roseanne canceled. Literally.
Roseanne already was huge. It was #1. It came on like a freight train, huge in the ratings, making a lot of money for ABC. For them to so swiftly cancel this show, they're going to take a hit.
Her hit show was pulled off the air, with Barr herself left blacklisted from the industry. The lengthy aftermath sparked a whole online discussion about the protections of free speech online, and whether that has a place in entertainment.
When do we stop laughing at things that really aren't funny? When do we start laughing at things that are racist?
Either way, it's safe to say Roseanne won't be back on TV screens for a good long while, if ever. Number 23. Mel Gibson's anti-Semitic rant. No one comes out of a DUI arrest looking good, but this drunken road trip ended up being the least of Mel Gibson's problems.
It seemed like he was definitely had drank a little too many that night.
When the arresting officer refused to let him drive home, Gibson unleashed a hate-filled tirade full of jaw-dropping anti-Semitic remarks. After TMZ leaked the arrest report, it hit mainstream news outlets, and that was that for Gibson's image.
The devout Catholic wrote, "I am not a bigot. Hatred of any kind goes against my faith."
The ensuing backlash threatened to capsize his entire career. Actually, it did for a while. In the years following this 2006 scandal, Gibson struggled to make new friends in Hollywood. He's since apologized and regained his footing in the industry, but there's no way Gibson will ever fully leave his words behind him.
You had some rough patches over the last 10 years.
Rough patch.
Uh-huh, and how was that?
Not my proudest moment.
Number 22. Chris Brown and Rihanna's rocky romance. On the outside, these two music artists seemed like the perfect power couple. Under the surface, though, things were rough.
This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody.
In 2009, a disagreement turned into an argument, which turned into a fight, which turned into felony assault. It left Rihanna with visible wounds, and Chris Brown at the mercy of a 24-hour news cycle. The highly publicized nature of their relationship made this violent fallout the headlining story for what felt like years.
Do you really get the severity of what happened?
Of course, 100%. I think
to fuel the fire, photos of Rihanna's injuries leaked online, sentencing Brown to lifelong prejudice in the court of public opinion. In the actual courts, however, Brown pleaded guilty, receiving 5 years probation, counseling, community service, and a 50-yard restraining order. Number 21. All the charges against Woody Allen. Hollywood has seen more than its fair share of disturbing allegations, and yet Woody Allen's might just be the worst.
I want to
show my face, and tell my story.
Accused of committing unspeakable acts on his adoptive daughter, Allen went from a beloved filmmaker to a social pariah seemingly overnight. The allegations, however, had been brewing for decades. Allen continually denied the claims, and investigations failed to produce any evidence.
Do you wish that they would have gone ahead and filed the charges? Because then you would have to have taken the stand.
You know, honestly, yes. I do wish that they had, you know, even if I'm just speaking in retrospect.
Still, the Me Too movement in 2017 proved to be the final tipping point, with several colleagues both behind and in front of the camera finally denouncing Allen for good. Given how things shook out, odds are Allen has received his last industry award. Number 20. Ellen DeGeneres' Treatment of Employees. The comedian presents herself on her talk show as a friendly, down-to-earth personality. However, rumors of mean remarks and actions have circulated for a while, and in 2020, employees began to speak out.
Remember, these were allegations of fear and intimidation at the workplace, of sexual harassment, of racism. Shocking allegations on their own, but this was at the Ellen Show.
In a report from BuzzFeed in July, employees alleged that Ellen presided over a toxic work environment where they were exposed to sexual harassment, racist comments, and other issues from the show's producers. Following these revelations, ratings dropped by more than 1 million viewers.
The Emmy winner finished by acknowledging she's not just a TV personality, she's also the boss of 270 people on her show's staff. Ellen says she wants them all to be happy and proud to work there.
In 2021, DeGeneres announced that she would be ending her show after 19 years on the air. Number 19. Kanye West accuses George W. Bush of being racist. The slow government response to the Hurricane Katrina disaster in 2005 was widely criticized, especially the delay in providing aid to New Orleans residents. On September 2nd, a benefit concert was held to raise much-needed funds. However, Kanye West decided to go off-script.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food.
He criticized the media for portraying white families as, quote, looking for food, yet black families as, quote, looting. And he infamously set his sights on President Bush, suggesting he was indifferent to black Americans.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
The comment shocked his co-host Mike Myers and stirred up outrage and debate. While Myers later characterized West's comment as, quote, speaking truth to power, West eventually apologized. Number 18. Michael Jackson dangles Prince over a balcony. The king of pop was embroiled in controversy throughout the 2000s, what with his child endangerment trial and this 2002 incident that took place at a Berlin hotel. As a spontaneous act to surprise his fans, Jackson presented his infant son to a crowd outside the hotel, Prince Michael Jackson II, or Blanket. However, the way he showed his infant child shocked the public, as he put a towel over the child's head and held him over a balcony where one slip could have sent the baby plummeting to a gruesome end. Jackson seemed to recognize how dangerous his act was and issued an apology. Number 17. Eminem's feud with the Cheneys. During a congressional hearing in 2000, Lynn Cheney, wife of future Vice President Dick Cheney, asserted that Eminem promoted violence against women.
He is a violent misogynist.
Cheney also called on the rapper's record label to drop him. In response, Eminem made sure to give Lynn a couple of mentions in his 2002 album, The Eminem Show, In Without Me, and White America. Even more shockingly, for the music video Without Me, Eminem featured a stand-in for Dick Cheney, who's electrocuted by the rapper.
I know that you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's heart problem's complicated. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see.
It was another example of Eminem going all out against critics. Number 16. Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin's college admissions scandal. In 2019, an FBI investigation named Operation Varsity Blues uncovered a criminal scheme in which parents were bribing their children's ways into top universities.
The bust is called Operation Varsity Blues, and the accusations range from paying thousands of dollars for higher SAT scores to presenting students as top athletes in sports they never even played.
It is a little enraging.
Among those involved were actresses Felicity Huffman, best known for her role in Desperate Housewives, and Lori Loughlin of Full House fame. Huffman paid $15,000 to have someone take her daughter's SAT test for her, and Loughlin paid $500,000 to have her daughter enrolled in the University of Southern California. Both actresses were arrested and did short stints in prison.
The ruling? 14 days in prison, $30,000 fine, 1 year supervised release, and 250 hours of community service.
The scandal shone a spotlight on how the rich are able to use money and influence to give their children an unfair advantage. Number 15. Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake's halftime performance at Super Bowl 38 in 2004 is undoubtedly one of the most infamous television events of all time. At the end of Rock Your Body, Justin removed part of Janet's costume, exposing her breast for about half a second. The backlash was massive, with shocked and outraged commentators lamenting the country's moral collapse. Over 500,000 letters poured into the FCC, who fined CBS $550,000, although it was later voided. The controversy is now remembered for having unfairly tarnished Jackson's career while not affecting Timberlake's at all.
All the emphasis was put on me, not on Justin. And Justin, we were friends.
Number 14. Kanye interrupts Taylor Swift's awards speech. When Taylor Swift won Best Female Video at the 2009 VMAs, Kanye was so outraged that he crashed Swift's acceptance speech and let everybody know what he thought.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
The moment was embarrassing for everyone, even Beyoncé, for whom West was advocating. Beyoncé graciously invited Swift back to the stage to finish her speech when she won for Video of the Year. West faced enormous public backlash for ruining Swift's big moment and apologized.
It was rude, period, and, you know, I'd like to be able to apologize to her in person.
But in 2016, he also later took credit in an improbable lyric for making Taylor Swift famous.
I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that famous. God damn. I made that famous.
Setting off a new round of controversy. Number 13. Jussie Smollett's fake hate crime. The actor from Empire made headlines when he claimed in January 2019 to have been the victim of an attack outside a Subway restaurant in Chicago.
How can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth. You don't even want to see the truth.
Smollett alleged that 2 white males in MAGA hats put a noose around his neck, poured bleach on him, and beat him while yelling racist and homophobic slurs. It was later revealed that the men were actually Nigerian-born brothers who knew Smollett and said he'd paid them to stage the attack. The initial charges against Smollett were dropped, which also caused controversy. He was even so bold as to file a countersuit against Chicago, but he was later convicted of making false police reports and disorderly conduct.
For years, his allegations had raised questions of race, hate, and lies surrounding his claims, which affected the city of Chicago and beyond. Today, a jury said he was lying.
Number 12. The Sean Diddy Combs investigation. In September 2024, rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs was indicted on charges of trafficking and racketeering after a slew of lawsuits and allegations were brought to federal court.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment.
The indictment includes multiple accounts of abuse against women, illegal drug transportation, and larger schemes allegedly orchestrated by Combs, who is accused of coercing victims into sex acts that lasted for multiple days.
The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years. and in a variety of ways.
Combs pleaded not guilty to the charges, and if convicted, he faces 15 years to life in prison. Given his high profile in the music industry, the investigation and subsequent trial generated significant media attention, breaking the silence on Combs' long history of alleged misconduct.
This is what the feds do. They measure twice, they cut once.
Number 11. Martha Stewart's insider trading. Given Martha Stewart's reputation for giving Americans happy homemaker tips, she was probably the last person anyone would suspect of being a white-collar criminal.
Martha Stewart decided to spend her last night of freedom away from the glare of the spotlight. Tomorrow, she trades that glare for surveillance of a different kind.
However, that changed in 2002 when it was alleged that Stewart had sold off more than 3,900 shares of ImClone Systems before its stock dropped 16% in value the next day. In 2003, Stewart was indicted on 9 felony counts related to insider trading, and in 2004, she was convicted on all counts and served 5 months in a federal prison.
What was a small personal matter became, over the last 2 years, an almost fatal circus event of unprecedented proportions.
Because of the scandal, Stewart had to step down from the board of directors of Martha Stewart Living Omni Media Incorporated, and she couldn't join again until 2011. Number 10. Britney Spears' conservatorship. The Princess of Pop became an instant sensation in 1999 with Baby One More Time, but in the mid-2000s, she had a very public breakdown, shaving her head, checking into and out of drug and alcohol rehabilitation facilities, and even crashing into a parked car. The media coverage was relentless, and the public could not get enough.
She was constantly swarmed by paparazzi. She was talked about in the tabloids and portrayed in a very misogynistic and sexist light.
After child welfare investigators got involved, she lost custody of her children. It all culminated in a conservatorship under her father Jamie, with conditions including time in a psychiatric facility and using an IUD. In response, her fans started a Free Britney movement to advocate for an end to the conservatorship. Britney Spears and her supporters finally got their wish in November 2021.
Her most ardent fans, the legions of the Free Britney movement, celebrating outside.
I'm so happy. She deserves all of the freedom.
Number 9. Tom Cruise's Scientology video. Founded by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, the Church of Scientology has remained controversial in spite of its celebrity advocates.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself a Scientologist, and it's something that you have to earn.
The organization is infamous for its space opera involving an alien dictator named Xenu, but also its predatory financial tactics and aggressive policies towards critics. That hasn't stopped Tom Cruise from extolling its virtues. In 2008, a video uploaded to YouTube showed Cruise claiming that Scientologists are experts at dealing with substance use disorder and the only people who can help after car accidents. When the organization filed a copyright claim, YouTube took the video down.
They said, so, like, have you met an SP?
This inspired hacktivist collective Anonymous to launch the protest movement Project Chinology. Number 8. Lance Armstrong's doping scandal. This pro athlete and cancer survivor was seen as an inspiration by people around the world and raised millions for cancer research through his Livestrong Foundation.
For 7 straight years, he dominated arguably the hardest sporting event in the world.
History in the making, 7 times a winner of the Tour de France.
Around him grew an empire that included a powerful foundation dedicated to fighting cancer.
It's one of the great human stories.
He was an example of what was possible if you worked hard and believed in yourself. However, in 2012, Armstrong disappointed the sports world and disillusioned his supporters when he admitted to using steroids to enhance his performance during his bike races.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? Was one of those banned substances EPO?
As a result, Armstrong was stripped of all 7 of his Tour de France titles and was banned for life from the sport. Number 7. Tiger Woods' cheating scandal. In 2009, Tiger's world was turned upside down when the National Enquirer published a story about an extramarital affair.
I've done some pretty bad things in my life, and all came to a head
A few days later, he crashed his car and had to be brought to the hospital. As the number of alleged affairs began to grow, so did everyone's interest in the story, making him the focus of morbid curiosity. As a result of the scandal, his wife, Elin Nordegren, divorced him, and several companies such as AT&T and Gatorade decided to drop him from their endorsement deals. The scandal permanently tarnished Tiger's squeaky clean image.
I hurt a lot of people, not just my wife. My friends, my colleagues, the public, kids who looked up to me. There were a lot of people that thought I was a different person.
Number 6. R. Kelly abuse allegations. The R&B artist has long been suspected of having inappropriate relationships with underage girls. In 2002, R. Kelly was indicted on multiple counts of possessing obscene material involving children. Though he was acquitted, and a year later, he was able to beat the rap again.
Last month, Kelly was indicted again, this time charged with aggravated criminal sexual abuse of 4 women, including 3 who the charges say were minors at the time.
However, in the late 2010s, more allegations of misconduct and abuse emerged, along with a series of high-profile documentaries, including Lifetime's Surviving R. Kelly. In July 2019, federal prosecutors charged Kelly with multiple felony counts, including racketeering, exploitation, kidnapping, and sex trafficking. Altogether, it added up to a 2022 sentence of 31 years behind bars.
That verdict comes after weeks of testimony from some 50 witnesses. He faces potentially decades in prison.
Number 5. Allison Mack and NXIVM. Best known for her role as Chloe Sullivan on Smallville, this actress was involved in NXIVM, a sex cult dressed up as a multi-level marketing organization. As part of NXIVM, which she joined in 2006, Mack recruited girls to become slaves for cult leader Keith Raniere. In 2018, Mack was indicted on charges including sex trafficking and forced labor that potentially could have landed her between 14 and 17 years in prison. However, because of her cooperation with investigators in bringing down Raniere, Mack was only sentenced to 3 years in prison, 1,000 hours of community service, and was fined $20,000. She was released in 2023 after serving just 21 months of her term.
Prosecutors asked the judge to give Mack a reduced sentence because of the, quote, substantial assistance she provided with their investigation into the cult.
Number 4. 2014 photo hack. Ever get suspicious emails asking for sensitive information? Some of them look legitimate, as if they're from Apple or Google, but they're not.
An invasion of privacy tonight impacting some of the biggest stars in the world. Personal photos of some A-list celebrities were reportedly posted on photo sharing site 4chan, allegedly obtained by hacking cloud accounts.
In 2014, several celebrities, including Jennifer Lawrence, Kirsten Dunst, and Kate Upton, were the victims of such a scam. Their iCloud accounts were hacked and nude photos uploaded to websites like 4chan. It was a horrible invasion of privacy that's enough to give anyone nightmares. Lawrence was perhaps the most vocal about her outrage, calling the hack a violation and sex crime.
Just because I'm a public figure does not mean that I asked for this. It does not mean that it comes with the territory. It's my body and it should be my choice. And the fact that it's not my choice is absolutely disgusting.
At least 5 men who were involved in the hacking were convicted and given prison sentences. Number 3. Bill Cosby assault accusations. Before Hannibal Buress's rant at a stand-up show went viral in 2014, Bill Cosby was so loved and respected as a comedian that he was known as America's dad.
But this squeaky clean image was quickly shattered as the sexual assault allegations came pouring in.
However, after the Buress video gained attention, several women felt encouraged to come forward and accuse Cosby of misconduct. In 2018, Cosby was indicted and convicted of aggravated indecent assault against Andrea Constand and received a prison sentence of 3 to 10 years. However, in 2021, he was released early after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his conviction, citing a violation of due process.
Many do not see a legal path for another case, but some say they're not giving up.
Other cases are still pending, however, and the scandal has forever tarnished his legacy. Number 2. Prince Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein was able to cultivate a lot of relationships with powerful people based on his ability to traffic young girls.
The Monday morning headlines say it all. Prince Andrew's attempt to explain his friendship with accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein backfiring.
According to one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre, Prince Andrew was one such a person and abused her in 2001. The ties between Epstein and the Duke of York were reported by the BBC in 2011, and in 2019, the prince gave a disastrous interview where he infamously tried to dispute allegations by insisting that he was unable to sweat.
I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
Prince Andrew, who served in the Royal Navy, says he developed the rare medical condition during his combat tour in the Falklands War.
The Epstein scandal has been a headache for the British royal family, and in November 2019, Andrew stepped down from his duties as a royal. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Harvey Weinstein and Me Too. An influential producer once considered a titan in Hollywood, Weinstein was accused of assault and harassment by numerous women, as detailed by the New York Times and the New Yorker. After these stories came out, actress Alyssa Milano encouraged women around the world to share their stories on social media with the hashtag #MeToo.
It was started by actress Alyssa Milano. She tweeted out, "If all women who have been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote Me Too as a status, we might give people a sense of magnitude of the problem."
This would spark a movement that changed the way many industries viewed misconduct in the workplace. In February 2020, Weinstein was found guilty on multiple counts of misconduct and was later sentenced to 23 years in prison.
This is seen as a severe sentence and perhaps a watershed moment for the Me Too movement. Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years behind bars.
Did we miss any scandalous pop culture moments? Let us know in the comments.
My behavior was unacceptable.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.